Taking this back to me.
Right.
There's Emmanuel. Mr. Garcia, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm fine. And you?
¿Cómo estás, Emanuel?
Muy bien, muy bien. Me da gusto escucharte. Nada más que,
Have you met Juan?
yes, I
Have
read.
you
Yeah.
talked- Oh, okay. Okay, well,
Yeah, I think we met like his second day at the office. I think he was in a meeting here as well.
well, he's,
I think we can start. Jose Luis was in the field, so I don't know if he's going to be able to join. But if anything is needed from him, I can reach out to him later.
hey, I didn't bring a full-on agenda. The agenda to me was just going through this presentation and just, talking about the CPKC and the Ferromex meetings that are coming up this coming week. You said you'd have an itinerary tomorrow, so that's good. Dave Nelson, if you want to step in here at any point. I'm going to run through this presentation a little bit. I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, but I just kind of want your opinion of it and whether it stays on the rails or goes off the rails, let me know. This front page of it. I just, we've got some logos here.
Looks good.
Okay.
Looks good.
What is this building? What is this picture of, Luis? I don't know why it doesn't come up. How come
Not clicking on play
You have to hit the play button now.
let's hit the play.
to the right there. No.
That's Mexico City downtown.
Okay, well, I thought it was a pretty picture and it kind of showed a road, so I kind of,
Sure, no problem.
where's the play?
Under more options, those three dots.
I don't know the rest of the presentation, but you got my complete attention with this. Great idea, Brian.
Well, anyway, it says, there it is. It says Comet Lumietri commitment to Mexico. Again, anyway, it's just a contacts page with Dave, Brian, Juan. Mr. Nelson, did you want to be on this page?
I don't need to be.
Okay. I figured it was probably just those people that were gonna field a certain amount of phone calls from, those of us that are in this room ought to know what we do. So, anybody have any problems with this? No? And then here, Luis, I took a few liberties with a slide for you, so you got to tell me if this is good or this. It's your company, so I'm not gonna mess with your messaging so much. But does this look okay?
Yeah, I may ask you to come work with us. You put it in better words than I do.
Okay, well, maybe I need to get Juan to translate some of this, but anyway. So this is your address that I could find, and then also, Luis, your phone number. I don't know who else you want on this slide. I just kind of left it.
Okay. I would include Emmanuel and Jose Luis, definitely, both of them.
Include who? And Jose Luis?
Yeah, Emmanuel and Jose Luis. Yeah.
Okay. I think I have Emmanuel's. And then Jose Luis.
We can send you an email with the details.
Yeah, if you can
Yes,
do that.
give me a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Can you include Jose Luis information, Emmanuel, please?
Yes, without trouble, I will
Click
send
on
it
the
right now.
slide again down below. It'll do your
Right here.
Yeah.
You sure?
Have you clicked on it?
Yeah.
You didn't just click on it though, did you?
Here it is. So this is a slide I kind of put in and took out and put back in. It just kind of talks a little bit about, what we think the value proposition is for AEI. I didn't go into a great amount of detail. So this is some of the things that I came up with. I am open to additions and subtractions. Dave, can you see a screen there, or are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone, but I can see a screen.
Okay.
Again, I think I made the comments, and I know you're going to get to different slides later, but I'm just looking at it from we talked about the importance of AI and value right here, but also making sure we spell out the difference of our AI as in, creating
Right.
concepts versus tag words, right?
Yeah, I've got a slide in there for that too, but is there anything else I missed in here or something that seems kind of preposterous?
Like you and I spoke, Brian, I'm always hesitant to tell somebody what the value of AEI is because I feel like they know it better than I do. Is there any way we can get the slide to prompt a conversation or something where they're telling us what the value of AEI is? I mean, I don't want to the presentation, but if you tell them at some level, like it'd be better if you could kind of
Yeah, I can let me
conversation.
let me think about that. I can probably instead of making statements that are whatever declaratory statements. Thank you. I could probably just put make it all a question.
Or something like, we know that it's critical,
But what is AEI to you?
something,
Yeah. Or before the bullet points drop and you just have AEI is ... and
we're
that's
talking
when you
about,
ask.
we're talking about next
Yeah,
level salesmanship here.
Yeah,
Next,
I'm just going to say something to all that is like asking them that question. I mean, does that not kind of like get you on the other side of like, hey, I'm building all this for the future, but I really don't know what I'm building it for.
Right.
That's all I'm saying is like, are you leading that thought process down another line of like, hey, we're here to present you some value. By the way, what is the value?
you can't ask the question.
Exactly. That's
You
my
can't
point.
ask the
So, I
question,
mean, be
but that doesn't
careful
mean
with that line.
that doesn't mean that you can't prompt the conversation and have them tell you without you saying, I really don't understand what we're doing here, but maybe you could help us with that. Like I said, it's next level salesmanship here.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't think you should be putting it in slides that directly is my point.
You shouldn't put in slides that what again?
I'm just saying I don't think you should put that message in a slide directly. I mean, that's something like you're doing as you're having a conversation. If you're going to get to some conversation like that, I can't imagine you're putting a slide.
Okay, so I think what I want to probably do with the slides where it says AEI is, I'll just say what is AEI, and then I go down the list, and then the question is asked, is that accurate? Is there something you would like it to do, or is there something that you think it does that we're missing or something? I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. Maybe it's like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just as long as the bullet points, I'll figure out the kind of the rejoinder, the question or the lead in. I was just kind of looking for some input on the bullet points, and if you don't have anything on that, then just go on.
I mean, you cover all the generals in there. So.
This is just kind of what it is, and why it's important. And this is a slide I added this morning based on your input. I took AAR out because I mean there's a lot of internal industry compliance things that we don't really know about. I mean, it's like I think Mr. Gass and I have talked about the what's Faramex or what's CP. Well, I mean, we kind of know CPKC is with CPKC, but with Faramex, I mean, they have a lot of joint ventures with Union Pacific or CSX or whoever that inbound and outbound traffic going to and from the United States from Mexico. I mean, what does that look like? That's not so much a regulatory compliance, it's industry compliance. So that's why I put that in there. Is that last statement in bold print? Is that accurate?
So,
Okay.
You need to point out for sure that it includes tag information though. Like it's not inclusive tag information.
I guess maybe I should qualify that a little different. Yeah. Okay. Do that.
Yeah, I'd probably take out axle base too. You don't need to spell out axle base. I don't know that in the future it's always going to be axle based.
Well, I mean, axle based differentiates between tag based. I mean, is it not? I mean, isn't it something that's a little different?
David,
It adds information is my point, but it doesn't. I mean, you can't do an axle without a tag. And still
Well, right.
get the same train content is my point.
I don't know. What do you think?
David, it depends on what you want AEI to mean or what we want AEI to mean. AEI is a term, as far as I can tell, that's coined by the T94 standard back, in the 90s, and then carried forward to 918 and S9203. And it does declare that this is an axle-based consist. Not that you can't get train or car movements with, the idea of a non-axle based. But if you want the difference between that much difference to me.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying there, Gas, but later in this presentation, you're getting into the idea of, oh, here, let me show you estimate or sentiment, right? So, on one hand, I'm over here talking about, yep, this follows all the rules, it's AR, oh, by the way, I got this little thing here too.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Presenting that.
Again, like where's my unification there is my point. So,
I mean, I could take it out.
we want to leave it in there, that's fine. In the end, our future look at it doesn't necessarily say that we're going to be based on axles, right? Not necessarily out of the things that we're talking about. So it's kind of one of those, I'm trying to get them moved off the idea of just AI into a platform. You know where I'm going with that. So it's kind of like, this could be anything. But it doesn't matter for this presentation so much. I'm just saying, or our thought process.
Luis, Manuel, you have anything? You guys okay? Keep
Yeah.
going?
Yeah, nothing to add on this slide.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just here to throw wrenches in things. That's fine.
Okay, so this is the roadmap introduction. I don't know, this is something we talked about this morning. Do we need, I did change some of the CenturyLink stuff, took out the regulatory stuff and provides platform for yard management systems. I mean, I don't,
I think if you put yard management system in there, I'd just say future yard management systems, just so they understand, like, hey, it's not sitting there right at this second.
okay, I will.
The other thing, and I don't care, but it says provides all the functionality of the T10, which,
Not exactly true.
I mean, it provides the functionality of RailNet. You know, T10 is part of RailNet. It provides functionality, you know, it provides AEI functionality. You know, whatever. If T10 is what you, these are little details that maybe Mac getting out. But above, right above, the T10 processor is not about AEI, it's about its gigabytes.
Right. I'll change.
Yeah, we're describing it different. The second thing I would say is, again, to start getting the dialogue moved over, when you say provides all functionality at T10 without on-site processing, I would say with something like with powerful cloud processing or something like that, you know? So it's not like, what's the, okay, well, if it's on-site processing, where does that happen? Like, go ahead and answer the question, what drives the future of what we're trying to do with it?
Right, T10.
Right. Yeah, this slide I did like 4 months ago, so it was prior to
The 4 months worth of knowledge you've gained.
what?
The 4 months worth of knowledge you've gained.
Yeah, I've learned that the hyphen does not belong in T10. I don't know, this is a slide I wasn't sure to put in it or not. These are some of the text off of the roadmap. I put in something here. I was trying to kind of get to the point where, you know, why is hardware important? You know, and hardware is important because of the user interface. So I don't know if you guys are okay with that or not.
Well, I think we got to spill out, at least on this slide, if we're going to have it, a little bit more of why these things are. In other words, AI Core 5000, yeah, okay, it's a replacement for that. Why? Is it because different physical form factors, like I can hang it on a tower instead of just being in a hut? You know, like spill out a little bit of those. Because like if I looked at this slide being on the other side playing devil's advocate, I'm looking at Comet alternative to the MPRX RF unit. Well, why? What's wrong with the MPRX unit? You know, it's like, or at least tell me it's like a lower cost alternative, you know, coming, or, you know, something of that sort of, why do you change it? It's kind of like when I had the conversation of like, well, how do you sell an RF unit to someone? You know, like, why do I replace the old one? Give me a reason.
I would drop this 100%.
You would drop the slide.
100%, all of it.
I mean, do we need to put anything in there about future, just in a more generalized way? Again, the Comet alternative to the MPRX, that's the one I had the biggest issue with, and I threw it in there, and I figured you guys can throw it out. But do we need to, in general, kind of describe what an APU 102 might look like 3 years down the road, you know, where we're going away from more.
Do you know what that looks going to look like?
I mean, no, I don't.
Yes, you don't need to be facetious here. Okay.
I mean, I'm
Like-
just saying, like, yeah, I don't mean to be, you know, standoffish or facetious. I just think we're making promises here that we can't really put flesh on.
Well, and that's why I thought, you know, maybe a kind of a paragraph or two about what we see in the future, and not so much products, not so much promises, just where we see electronics, AI wayside going.
Either you can put that as a slide right there, or it comes in conversation during the actual roadmap slide. Because I mean, you basically have that in there. I mean,
I mean,
no one questions that. I guess I didn't care, but
maybe I will take it out, put a diagram in it that says absolutely nothing, and then something that would stimulate a conversation. Is that okay?
I'm
Sure.
okay.
Yes,
Like
it's okay.
AEI Core 5000, that was put placeholder on our internal roadmap, and I think it's unfit as a product name put in front of a customer. If we have to talk about a replacement,
But
solution,
you
we
have
want
the
to do, I think
5,000
we should,
was a
but I wouldn't
placeholder on your
for the
internal
conversation.
I
roadmap,
mean,
right?
yeah, I mean, my question is wasn't CPKC the ones that were the ones that were the most nervous about the LX800?
They are the one, as I understand, they were concerned about the fact that we just pushed a processor upgrade on them, and we're now coming out with another processor.
Okay, so
That's the concern.
I mean, the question is how much discussion do you want to have about the third generation future that they've just had to, wrap their minds around in the last 3 years, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I mean, in their mind, the LX800 has been around since a long time.
15 years.
Right. But in their minds, they're not sure if it didn't come out just like 5 years ago.
Right.
And now we're trying to go, okay, we got the T10 and now we got the,
Well, we do have literature though showing that the LIC
No.
is that old, right?
It's not our fault they were late to the show.
No. It is our fault that they were late.
I know.
We did not get down there and tell them that they needed to upgrade until 5 years ago. We were down there saying, hey, man, it's, like,
this cool new LX800 out.
yeah.
Did we say it was new?
I don't know. I don't know.
New industry standards.
I don't know what we said to them, but we really didn't encourage them to look at it. And then they, committed to it. And we're, 5 years later coming by saying, look at this shiny new thing, and that's their beef, I think.
Luis, on the way in.
I think if we keep it, well, from my point of view, and please keep in mind, I'm very much commercially oriented. I think if we keep this kind of information to a high level, 30,000 feet from the ground, just to let them know what will eventually come and what Comet is planning in terms of hardware and software development. I think at this point, I don't think we need to give anything in detail. The more detail we give them, the more questions we will be needed to answer. And as what happened with the T10, they will be pushing for due date compliance, and I don't know. I think if we're able to allocate this conversation into a high level, without detail kind of conversation, that would be my target.
Yeah,
I think it's like we talked about, like keeping it to the partnership, the value of the partnership, right?
Right. I mean, I think I know what I'll do with this slide. I'm not gonna throw it out, but everything in it except for the picture and the heading, I'm gonna throw out and just put a blurb in there about, some things that we're working on for the future, but also something that would stimulate a conversation about what they actually want.
Yeah, something like what will they be able to eventually do with AI sites, and not specific specifically talking about parts, but talking about the system itself, the solution.
Okay, and thank you for your input. I'll switch that one up. This I didn't really know what to do, so I just put something down on a page to just go if you want that in there or not. Obviously, we have Dave, Mr. Nelson wanted something about security, but I am loath to write about that. So I don't know what y'all want in there, but it's probably not going to be me that's going to write it.
You just need to push some generalities on the fact that we are conscious of it. I mean, I think, what is it, gas? CPKC wasn't one of the first ones asking for, or at least the first ones that got scanned down that it said we need to do different ciphers, right?
Yes. Yes, they were. SSH ciphers.
Yeah.
Mentioned that, we were able to modify their SSH ciphers, and we're responding to them on their security requests, and we like RSMs will be available with multi-factor authentication here, briefly.
Like I said, something general that they understand, like, yeah, that's part of it.
And then, literally, I would go back to, can we have a conversation? And I've done this now a couple of times with our Mexican customers. The conversation, moves a little slower because it requires translation, because my Spanish is really poor. But, the value of security, every one of our customers sort of values that differently. Their SecOps people, based on the standing, we'll say, of their SecOps folks, right? At the operations level, all of them would want, security to be something that they didn't have to think about or worry about. But it's a conversation I'd love to have with them at the operations level, like what level of acceptance they have for things they know have to happen.
In a general way, how would you describe our capabilities when it comes to solving their security concerns? I mean, how would you put that in a integration?
First of all, we have responded. Like I would put down there that we did respond, which we did respond to their concern with an SSH cipher. We made changes to our software in order to help them with their general security scan. RSM is moving to a multi-factor authentication model. We support, encrypted communications.
Again, I think this is just high-level points about security. We can just blurb it on there.
The thing we don't put on there is, all of their systems have the same password as everybody else in the entire world, right? But
And so do most of the railroads. So
exactly. So, anyways, like David's saying, you got to put some blurbs in there, like, "Hey, we're responding to you. Here's some of the things we're doing," and then try and work out what their specific security strategy is, if we can.
yeah,
I'm just
That
gonna,
shouldn't be a hard. I think I could type in a blurb and just get it approved by him if you want.
Okay.
Let me do that.
sure. I'm just gonna throw these two slides together and throw security on the bottom of that one.
The software development, I would crash that slide. It comes up later if you ask me, but you're running the thing and I'm good.
Some of these slides I'm just more concerned about flow than I am content. This is the roadmap, so I mean, yeah, you're right, it does come on. This might be too much information too, I don't know.
Well, it's a lot, and it comes way later after we kind of talk about different things. I mean, you probably could have stuck that at the front, and all those things would end up getting asked one way or the other. So it's kind of depends one way or the other. But I know Luis said, you know, and Luis, you can obviously please chime in that they were looking for the roadmap. So
Right. Okay, I can throw this in at the beginning.
I think as you have the presentation put together, I think it's wonderful. I mean, just some tricks here and there, but presenting this roadmap, I think it helps a lot.
Only halfway through, so it's sort of towards the beginning by one thing.
yeah, I mean you're just going to a bunch of the details before you even see the summary roadmap, which is like it's fine to go either way. I'm just saying that, you know.
I think I'm gonna get rid of the CPKC on here. I don't know if this, unless I'm gonna throw it in on every slide. What do you think?
Well, that makes it a little bit more usable if you move it around for Ferromex at some point, if that's what it's going to be. So,
Yeah, just so you don't walk into Paramex and go,
oh, hey, here you go.
just a second.
So,
Right click, cut.
you know, I made the 4 or 5 slides, sent them to you, and I put them in Spanish with a English subtext, if you will. And that is not the format of everything else, so I think the Spanish ought to be stricken from the, well, or Spanish put in on all of the rest of it.
I mean, I am leaning towards putting Spanish in on all of the rest of it. So, I mean, I wanted to nail down the presentation before I started on that. But
I mean, you got into it basically coming from a different angle than I did. I went after basically the product categories, RailNet, SensorLink, RSM, and service. And you went after it from sort of a different perspective. So a lot of like we have duplicate content
right, and
in
that,
a lot of places.
yeah, and I kind of knew that. And I think what I'll do, I'll take your slide and the roadmap and move that to the front and probably delete one slide. And as far as the Spanish goes, I'll work on that after we get this nailed down.
The other thing that I put in there, and like I wanted either out or in, right, is RailNet as a platform for the future, right? Slink, you know, like this is sort of future proofed, you know, like this is where Comet is headed, right? I'm trying the T10 processor, platform of the future, you know, each one of these things. And it's either kind of cheesy on a few slides or, you know, sort of a theme throughout. And I assume that is that's me reading between the lines on we want to see the roadmap.
Sure.
Have a problem with any of this. I'm gonna move them to the, I'll move to the, there'll be a slide in here about security that Joey's gonna write. I'm not sure what about these 2 slides.
You wouldn't need the software anymore because it's on this one.
No, that's why I'll delete that one. Yeah. You can write me a slide about security.
Oh.
You can just write it in an email and I'll just,
You're doing great. There we go.
You critique your own slide.
That looks so good, except for the fact that the English and the Spanish are the same size. No, I'm kidding. Like, yeah, killed it.
Is cloud processing not something that you want to point out here? Or
Well, I put RSM platform processing and reporting. So it's not, doesn't say the word cloud, it says RSM. And CPKC is already familiar with RSM.
that's right.
So maybe cloud needs to go in there.
I mean, I suppose since CPKC is a Canadian company, maybe we should have a French translation too.
Cool. If you're ready to take that up to Canada, I will get it translated.
Okay.
The first slide, or 17, what was the future comment on that one?
Same thing.
The form of the future.
But
And then it goes to the platform of the future. So which one was the both the platform?
They're both platform of the
Yeah. Platform. I mean, both of them.
What's
I
that?
was gonna say, if you could back up one slide again, that's 17. Only thing in here that, I don't know, I wouldn't say it gets confusing, it's only confusing because I just know, is where you say modern platform, centralized administration, but there's none of that on the next slide. And CenturyLink has to have the RSM platform to even perform what it does, you know, so, but we don't even say that over there.
We don't say what.
Do you think
Centralized administration, modern platform. I'm only saying that because does the platform being RSM, does that need to just be wiped from RailNet and put over there with the RSM slide itself? Because really, the RSM is what ties it all together. Because does someone not ask the question eventually? It's like, well, I got all this RailNet stuff, but by the CenturyLink stuff, like, you know, that I got to have two different platforms. This, that, you know, it's like there's a disparity, is what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Because we have an RSM slide, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you got CenturyLink there, and then the RSM slide would be, this is the centralized administration that can handle both RailNet and RailLink, and you know, as we move towards the future, because you should be able to hook up either a RailNet or a CenturyLink to it. I'm just saying in the slides with just the RailNet and CenturyLink, one says centralized administration, the other one doesn't even mention it.
It does, well, you're right. It does not mention how you administer CenturyLink. It does mention RSM as the processing and reporting platform, but it doesn't.
And then on the RSM slide, it says nothing about like what site health monitoring. Okay, so am I supposed to take the assumption that it's both RailNet and CenturyLink, or just one or the other, or what?
I mean, site is site, right? Whatever's on the site.
Is it? Because I mean, we have rail, you know, well, I mean, the lower end product that's out there right now, like if you call Nutrient, oh, I'll just buy RSM, I can administer these, right?
Right.
Wrong. Sales team.
Yeah, so my point is, like, this is what ties it all together. I'm just saying on the RSM slide, maybe you need to say, like, you know, future platform for all our hardware, you know, something like that, whatever that hardware might be.
Did I give you an RSM slide as well?
No, you didn't.
I did not give you an RSM slide.
Give me RailNet Central. Yeah, you give me just a second. We're not quite there yet.
I was gonna say,
Anything else? Anybody else have anything wrong with this? Lonnie?
I'm just, now.
Yeah, only if you talk about future, which you got that right there, future rail, health, dwell, location. Only thing I think I'd add there is platform integrations. You know, like we got to take in other data. That's something we're looking at.
Okay, I'll change this. Because you're gonna want to delete this, right?
what, this?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind this so much, although railcar health, like, that's a long ways out. Dwell time,
Maybe at the bottom.
you know, and you know, one of the things that I put on my slides kind of near the top, because A, we have to develop it for SensorLink anyways, and B, the KCS part of CPKC has relied on a product called AEI Messenger, is centralized report distribution, right? So that was one of the first features that I am like trying to put out there as will be available, you know, in sort of the nearish future. We have to do reporting, and especially, like I said, KCS, they're reliant on a program that we wrote for them, what, 5-7 years ago, David? That forwards AEI site or AEI consist reports, and I think that that could be some leverage for bringing in the CP, right? Here is that package that your team already depends on as a, you know, a feature that's here in RSM.
Right. How does that go on the line over here?
Instead of future uses and development, railcar health. That would be, I don't know what we would do with that without a lot of, like, that's a long ways down the road. But centralized consist management, or centralized consist reporting, or centralized consist distribution. They all have to distribute their consists to railing.
Take the
So they already have some of that? Is that what you're saying?
They have a standalone program that Comet provided, who knows how long ago, that is not, like, we basically said we will not support this, even though we have supported it a few times since I've been here. That is forwarding consist reports for KCS. And there are demands on railroads for sending consist reports that have only horsepower, you know, only locomotives, and they're interested in rules-based consist forwarding, like, hey, I want to be able to send all of the railroad or all of the locomotives to AEI or to RailLink for horsepower leveling, right? I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to send, you know, a partial consist to this customer that only has these owner codes, right? They want to be able to split these consists up and send T94s different places. They're already doing,
I think we're really getting in the weeds here.
we definitely are, but you know, he started with, you know, future uses and things that are in development, and railcar health is, you know, being thought about, but you know, these things aren't actually in development. They're in the development pipeline.
Split it that way too.
So
Pipeline item.
anyways, I don't know.
I'm not interested in getting too deep in the weeds on this.
Splitting the hairs. What did I write down as, where's my RSM slide? I can't remember what I put in. There. So that this is their experience with RSM. We have one, we should report one Azure unplanned resource outage. They are using it. We do have a change that they've asked for. And then I wanted to project the platform change to Wayside Administrator to them. That's what I wanted to go into with RSM. The rest of it, we can talk about or not.
I'll move these slides to the front, and then I'll take out some of the redundant information. It's already on here, and take the CPKC off. This is a slide that kind of,
It has to be changed. Like this cannot go in front of them like this.
what, I mean, other than the brackets that I took out, what don't you like about it? Because you gave it to me.
I gave it to you, but I gave it to you as something we need to talk to Luis about. So I think the message needs to be, we want to be here for you. And the hard part for me is I can't tell what's breaking down with CPKC because we're having these issues, but we're not really hearing about them, or we're hearing about them after the fact, or Comet is not involved in their discovery or resolution, and maybe Lumietri is, but I don't know that. So how do we communicate about these sites? I asked Jose Luis to get a hold of the CPKC maintainer so that we could potentially report success on a site or two, or understanding at least. I haven't heard from him. I reached back out this morning. So I don't know how this goes, but ultimately, how do we get, the question is, we want to be here for you. How do we get there for them so that these aren't problems that we'll say could be on the same list the next time we come see them, in September or November?
Does this slide need to be in there, or should we just print it off, and slide it across the table and go, okay, we probably need to talk about this?
You can do it however you want, but you're going to get to the next several things, which are silver, bronze, and gold, or whatever they are.
Well, I don't even know if that needs to be in there. I mean, they have already we already have a contract. So,
but we do want to talk about service. I think we need to talk about service with them.
Yeah.
Well, here's the lead off to the service part, and this just expresses our commitment to providing the same level of service in Mexico as to the U.S.
I saw your email from this morning, David. I think we should, instead of listing this specific site issues, I would list what we will do in terms of service. What will Comet and Lumietri put together in terms of strategy and service processing in benefit of the railroad. So I think we need to get together specifically to define a well-detailed process on how will service be executed, and take it from there. I think bottom line, these issues that are currently listed there tomorrow will not be there. I think that what we need to convey as a message is the interest that our companies have in offering the best possible service to customers.
Back to the high level. I apologize, but we need to get into this on details, and I got to give a presentation in like 3.5 minutes. So
You're giving a presentation in 3.5 minutes.
yeah,
I mean, as far as it goes, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable in front of a crowd if it's English, but I mean, if I don't know.
and we need to talk about who's talking. I mean, we don't even know that exactly on which, or if we're going to switch off, or it's just one person, or how we're doing that. That's partly for this.
I mean, the way I always try to do it is just, I'll lead off, I'll cover the high points and lead us through the presentation if you all want to weigh in at certain points. Obviously, there's points that you're going to want to weigh in on. So, I mean, it's up to you if you want to do it any different than that. Again, I mean, I think, maybe Juan can just give the presentation. Anyway, you better go do your presentation. We can talk about this later.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys might be on still. This should only take about 15 to 20 minutes, so it's just not exactly a rough topic considering the audience.
I hope we're not on in 20 minutes, but whatever. We can talk about whether we are.
Well, we need to get through this service and parts part, especially like what Luis said, and that's one of the main things is showing we're in this together. We want to provide you the best service we can. This is how we're going to try to do it. Blah, blah, blah.
I was going to say, this is like, we should be solid and clear on what our service partnership looks like by the time we walk in, and we're out of time. So let's figure it out.
I mean, do you guys
That's what I
want?
said. You might still be on.
Do you want this warehouse parts slide in here? I mean, I put this in there because I thought they might need little specifics and a little meat on the bone, but it's whatever you want.
I would think so. I don't know if they need the exact, but that at least we're going to warehouse parts, at least all their critical parts, and maybe we do list it. But
I mean, and this is not an all-inclusive list. I mean, it could be, hey, what are your issues? What do you want us to stock? I mean, that kind of thing. So
yeah.
And then
Okay.
I just put a few of these pricing slides behind the addendum, I called it, and there's a couple of the slide I had in Spanish.
I see.
Juan assured me that it was translated somewhat well.
Yes.
So anyway,
I got to drop for 15, so
okay.
I'll see where you guys are at that point. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Luis, you got anything left to add? I mean, you know these guys better than we do. I mean, who should lead the presentation? What's their level of comfort with English? I realize there's going to be some Spanish side conversations, and that's, or does it need just full-on translation?
I think you can. I mean, the fact you're taking the time of traveling all the way to Mexico to visit them, they're pretty capable to communicate in English. I don't know if they're comfortable. Maybe not, but it's. I think we will send the right message if you guys take the presentation. I mean, you put all this together, so I respect your time and your job, and I would be more than glad if you take the lead. I mean, you choose internally who from Comet but I think we would be sending the right message. We talk to them on a weekly basis. They don't need to hear from us. I think they need to hear from you, the manufacturer of the technology. What's in your mind? And that's, I would support this. In terms of service, David, what I suggest, I think I agree. We may be running out of time. However, uh, it's not reinventing the wheel, as I see it. I would pretty much.
Yes, I think he will come back. I think he's having trouble with his internet. Ah, he's here. Okay. Thank you, guys. Hello.